Welcome back to another episode of Scoundrels, Inc. We're talking about Bad Batch episode 5. This one was an interesting one.
It was.
It was more of like an Indiana Jones type of episode. And, you know, obviously we don't have Brandon or Kevin here this week. We just me and Sean. And we're going to go over this latest episode of Bad Batch. And we're going to get into some questions that were submitted in our Discord. If you ever want to ask us a question that we answer on the Thursday shows, go into our Discord and drop them in the Q&A section. We got quite a few this week.
We got a handful today.
That's fun.
They don't have to be about Star Wars.
Yeah,
you know,
not necessarily, but close enough. You know,
we'll make it about Star Wars. I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
They could be about our personal lives, our relationship history, our employment history. Whether or not we'd pass a lie detector test. Look, I'm looking for a new job, is what I'm saying.
Anyway. We also, yes, Brandon and Kevin are not here, but we do have a third person. He's just sitting.
I thought we were going to wait till.
Well, yeah, I know, but for the audio listeners,
he's the editor. Right. So.
Oh yeah, we do have our producer mic'd up today. He joins us for all of the episodes, but today we actually have a mic on him.
Yeah, so we don't know if he'll say anything actually.
No. Just he's over there producing.
He's just exactly.
But all right, yeah, let's jump into it. So we get Wanda Sykes.
Sykes.
What's her name? Fucking Omega.
Omega
And Wrecker find a compass in a junkyard. Wanda Sykes tells us that it leads to a treasure planet on that is off the star charts. It's hidden. It's not there anymore.
You know what? Real quick, because there's not a whole lot to really dig into. This is definitely an adventure of the week type of episode. I did like Star Wars using a compass, and I was like, this is how you use a compass in Star Wars. I was like, dang, man.
Well, it was like a decoder ring from a cereal box, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's really what it was. I really like this episode. I think last episode was stronger, or I think the last two episodes were stronger. But this was a lot of fun without feeling like it was too much of a filler episode. It did feel like it. Sometimes I feel like some of the filler episodes for this series are not that fun, on top of being not having a lot to do with the plot. Whereas I feel like this was like, hey, we kind of got Wanda Sykes set up in the first episode.
Yeah.
Now this is her returning. I feel like she's going to be a returning character for the series. However, I am a little disappointed with the role she ended up playing, because I think this means we won't get a Hondo appearance for this series, because I think she fills the same role as Hondo. She doesn't, but I think like as far as like maybe recurring negative influence minor character.
Yeah.
I think negative influence on our main young protagonist. She's filling the Hondo role. I think she fills it really well. I like her interactions with Omega.
Yeah.
I like Omega's fascination with her, getting excited to go out on adventures and treasure hunt rather than study her ships, right?
It makes sense, too, because what's Omega been surrounded with since she's been...
Men.
Right? Well, not just that, but just she's always fighting for her life. She wants to do something fun.
Oh, sure.
And this is an opportunity to do that, and it's adventure. It's fun. It doesn't feel like it should be too dangerous, right? But obviously it turns into that.
But she's also surrounded by these, four, testosterone-driven men, where even the fucking tech nerd is,
oh, yeah,
big testosterone, ball testosterone. Yeah, I don't know. I really like this episode. I have a theory that those are Zepho ruins.
Yeah, you were talking about this earlier, and I do really like this theory that could be tied to Jedi Fallen Order, which is a nice little tie-in. I do like the fact that whether or not you can rely on, what's her name, Fee, right? Fee?
Yeah, Fee.
Whether you can rely on her stating...
Wanda Sykes.
Wanda Sykes, right.
Yeah.
Whether or not you can rely on her saying, oh, this is older than the Jedi. This is, thousands of years whatnot. Old.
Which would match up with the Zepho.
Which could. Very definitely could. I was hoping, when that was brought up in this episode, I was hoping we were going to get like more into that. We didn't really, outside of the mech, which I thought was really cool. And I will just say, I think visually this was one of the most interesting, most visually pleasing, exciting episodes. Just because specifically when the mech
Yeah,
emerges,
so we get
the way they shot this, the music, everything. I was like, dang, this is some badassery.
We
going
get a
on.
big kaiju skybeam mech at the end, which at first I was kind of like, this doesn't feel like Star Wars, and then I realized.
Grogu when he's on the scene stone.
Well, no. But since Kevin's not here, I have to say it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the finale of KOTOR. Not like directly, but like where, hey, there's just this big super weapon here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's just this big old super weapon. It's just here.
The Starforge.
Yeah. Well, but I more generally, right? Like,
Sure.
Like that's a very Star Wars Legends, very Knights of the Old Republic thing. Like, this is just a big oddity in the galaxy that we're finding. Not something I expected out of the series about a clone commando unit.
Yeah.
So
I will say when the mech was first activated and it shoots out that beam, whatever, I was wondering if that's like some sort of signal, some sort of signal that was sent off, just like a beam, like it's been activated. Hey, heads up on blah 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 plant, whatever. Activated, or let something know. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not.
That feels like a real shark jumpy thing for this series to me.
Sure, but I only say that because I feel like we touch on this, and if we never go back to what this ancient, if it is a Zepho, if it is something else.
Well, it depends. It depends for me, right? Because if it's a one-off thing for this series that will be built up in other things, which is what I suspect. We had another episode a few months ago now, a month and a half ago now, where we talked about some possibilities for some other series and potentially exploring new parts of the galaxy. Sure. I don't want to be more specific than that because if you don't want to be spoiled on that or...
Oh, right.
I think that this could be something that leads into that with those series, or it could be something that leads into Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order, because a lot of the architecture. Now, I didn't go back and compare anything. I didn't go back and compare any of the symbols or the writing, but a lot of the shapes reminded me of Zepho ruins when you're on what's the Zepho planet in Fallen Order, whatever it is.
Yeah, I forget.
There's Bogano, but there's the other one that we go to. A lot of the shapes, a lot of the round...
With the Night Sisters stuff? That planet you're talking about?
No. The Night Sisters is Dathomir.
Dathomir.
I mean the planet where there's the crashed acclimator or the Clash Venator ship.
Oh, Braca.
Braca's the scrap planet.
Right.
No. You explore all the undergrounds. There's the orbs. You have to, like, when you're learning force push and force pull.
Damn it, yes.
There's the orbs. There's the thing that, like, telescopes up. You really explore this effort. David. No?
Well said.
Okay.
What I will say about...
Doesn't matter what the planet name is. Anyways.
What I will say is I do appreciate the Indiana Jones feel to this, very much so with the music, and talking about the puzzles and all that, figuring out the puzzles.
Yeah, it felt like a dungeon.
It felt like Fallen Order. Yeah. It felt Indiana Jones-esque. Last Crusade type of thing, which was really fun, and I like that aspect about the episode. Will it tie into something more later on in the season? I don't know. I don't have particularly high hopes, but like I said, I would like for something to, whether it's in this show or some other medium, whether it's a comic or a book or what have you, that touches on what exactly that is the 1,000 years old, whatever.
Let me pitch this to you. What if it has to do with whatever's on Wayland?
Interesting,
right? Because we know what Wayland is in Legends, but that doesn't mean it's the same thing in canon.
Sure.
So what if on Wayland the Emperor has found these hidden?
I initially thought this might have been like an Emperor type of thing,
hidden super weapon. Because here was the other thing I pointed out off the air. This had a permanent door, right? That door that was there was not part of the mech necessarily.
This thing was buried there.
It was meant, but the door seemed it was separate.
Sure.
So, it seems like there's some ruins of some civilization here that it was destroyed by this machine. How did you feel about what great shots with, what was the droid's name?
Mel?
Mel?
Yeah.
With Mel.
I was sad when they got toasted by the mech.
The Prometheus school of running away from things. Mel running away from the laser beam.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's cute. Like, Mel's going to just barely get away. Oh, no, Mel's toast.
And then Fee was like, don't worry.
Don't.
I got his memory back on the ship. I was like, oh, just we're cool like that. All right. Well,
All right, great.
There goes my emotional investment.
Yeah, but I did like that, and I like how at the end, I'm wondering if the next episode is also going to have her there, or if we're just going to time skip a little bit, because she did end the episode by saying they're going to some other planet to find a legendary chalice.
Right. I was like, okay, well, that's a Last Crusade type of reference.
Well, I think it was a Heisman Trophy reference.
Sure, yeah.
Because she said it was from the Kingdom of Elway. Did you not catch that?
I know, I didn't even think about that.
So I'm like, a chalice from Elway.
That's funny. That's pretty
funny.
Right,
okay.
Yeah, John Elway's in Star Wars. Yeah, but I mean, there's not really a whole lot to dig into this episode. It's just another fun adventure.
Just
of the
a fun romp.
I had fun with last week's episode with the Riot Race. I had fun with this episode, kind of the old adventure Tomb Raider type of esque, adventure. And next week, I don't know if it will dive into more of, will we see Rex? Will we see Cody? Will we see Crosshair? Will we see something more impactful with Sid? The show has set up through the previous episodes, like the first 3 really, of where we can go and stories that they can explore. Again, I approach the show because it is made for kids. I say this every week. Mm-hmm. I look at this episode is this a great episode of Star Wars for kids? Absolutely. And if they love this episode and they've never seen Indiana Jones, now's the perfect time to go show them Indiana Jones if they can withstand seeing melted faces. So, I mean, for real, like that's
I will throw out that this is kind of the model that we've seen from last season, where the first few episodes are really, a lot more plot relevant, and then we get a bunch of quote filler, and I'm not using that term in a negative way, just that it's not necessarily overarching plot. It's a lot more episodic. And then the last, 4 or 5 episodes will be more plot relevant.
And the reason,
and I don't have a problem with that.
Sure.
Especially because I feel like this episode and last episode even more so, for me, are better than most of what we got last season. I think that
this season's been stronger for sure to start.
Yeah, well, I won't say to start because I think it started.
For me,
because I say that because I think it started. The episode we started on was a pretty weak episode for me.
Interesting.
But I feel like week 1 was just okay, but our weeks 2, 3, and 4 have been great episodes.
I'm very curious. We'll have 2 more weeks before we get the double mid-season episode. So I wonder if whether it starts on episode 5 or maybe even in 6, starting to lead up to that 7 and 8 episode, that double header. I don't know.
I think 5 will be a follow up to this episode, and then I think we'll get 6.
I don't know. We could be sounding like idiots because people have already watched the first 14 episodes out there. There's some people who have, or at least have access.
Yeah.
to
Hey, if you've already seen these episodes, go ahead and leave it in the comments. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that.
But with that said,
let's jump over to the Q&A section. I'm going to start off with John Booze.
John Booze.
Friend of the show, John Booze. You wake up with the Force.
Ah.
Are you going to be a Jedi or a Sith? Actually, let me read it the way he wrote it. Are you going to be a Jedi or are you going to have fun and be a Sith?
Okay, well, I guess we know which way he leans.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Look, I'm going to be neither.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably go the Ahsoka route. However, if I'm forced to choose between Jedi and the Sith, I'm going to go Jedi by way of Qui-Gon Jinn. That's my caveat of stay as far away from the Jedi, but just inside the Jedi.
Well, it's funny you say that. I'm going to go Jedi by way of Ahsoka, where I'll go learn some stuff from the Jedi and then go fuck off on my own, right? I think I'm with you. I don't want to join a weird religious order sect. You're going to hear some of my opinion, little tease for next week. I got some opinions on the Jedi Order.
Yeah. We get into it.
There's about 8 minutes of my opinion on the Jedi Order next episode.
8 minutes times 8.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I will say it's interesting, he says, or have fun with the Sith. If you go back and watch was it Revenge of the Sith? Or no, I'm sorry, Return of the Jedi episode. We talk about this Filoni quote about how it ain't fun to go to the dark side. Be on the dark side is to be miserable. Right. I'm not going to harp too much on it, but that's why I would never go to the Sith. I
was going to say the exact same thing, is that in order to be a Sith, you have to be fueled by fear, anger, hatred.
Sounds like a bad time to me.
No thanks. Hey, unless I'm starting an emo band, Frank and I would be, if we had the talent to be in an emo band, Frank and I would probably make a great emo band. David, are you in for
Dark side?
Are you in for the emo band, David?
No.
No. What about you, Jedi or Sith?
Well, what was the question exactly?
You wake up with the Force
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. Do you want to be a Jedi or a Sith?
Now, it's not that easy to become a Jedi.
Well, assuming they're just going to let you.
And now we're assuming.
Yeah, we're assuming.
I guess it is much easier to be a Sith than a Jedi.
Sure. Yeah. All you got to do is,
Yeah.
Okay, but what does constitute being a Sith, and what constitutes being?
You either get to join a religious order of monks that secretly acts as a paramilitary, or you can have a master that's going to constantly try to kill you to make you stronger
And manipulate you.
So, really, what they're asking is, which sensei would you like to adopt?
Right.
Given the opportunity?
Yeah. Are you more of a Johnny Lawrence or a Danny?
I wouldn't feel comfortable with the guilt of doing things that were malevolent all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd feel guilty about it. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, as to say, like, didn't you say the dark side isn't necessarily fun?
It is not fun.
No.
But the question
He
poses
insinuates that you would
That's
have
more
fun.
fun.
No, he
doing
doesn't
bad things.
insinuate. He actually directly.
Well, I guess, yeah.
directly stipulates.
Yes.
He stipulates that it's
Stipulates
fun.
the word, right?
Right.
He's basically saying, I think being miserable is fun. And misery loves company. Why won't you join me?
I feel like a lot of people actually do that. A lot of people love being miserable, and they make themselves
That's
and
fair.
I don't want to do that, man. So like,
I don't mean to say you are miserable out there, but like,
some of you.
No. He is.
But
He
there's if you think about
He is. He's had his roof leaking for like a month now.
well, that'll do it.
Yeah.
but he's bringing it upon himself.
No, he keeps trying to get it fixed, and no one will fix it.
Does he not live in Los Angeles?
He lives in. I don't want to out where he lives. He does not.
Which coast?
Dox him.
He lives on the West Coast.
All right. So, yeah, I would rather have the autonomy to follow a rule set as opposed to have the heteronomy of following some kind of hedonistic
What a great fucking answer.
group.
Yeah.
The bad guys, right? How am I going to wake up in the morning like, yeah, I'm one of the bad guys?
Yeah.
All right, here's our next question from friend of the show.
Another friend.
Everyone's friend of the show.
So popular.
Yeah.
Everyone's friend of the show. IT Hana.
Yes.
Who would win in a fight? Crosshair or Crosshair is one of the characters, one of the villains in the show. He's a master sniper and special forces soldier. So Crosshair or 459 coordinated Homer Simpsons.
Very interesting question.
I know.
Thank you for asking.
That's great.
So just by pure volume, like, unless I will say this, unless Crosshair has a bunch of those mirrors, like 459 mirrors, he takes one shot and they all just...
No, because Homer has enough mass where the blaster bolt won't pass all the way through.
That's what blaster bolts do? They pass through you?
Not necessarily. Sometimes they just burn a hole here and not all the way through.
Okay, well, I'd rather, Crosshair is so good, he would make them all headshots.
Just
It's more
imagine.
cat activity.
Just
down there,
imagine.
I see it.
Just imagine.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like, the homers would win.
Is they all? Yeah, I think the Homers would
I
win.
mean, it's just by pure volume. Like, what kind of, great question. But what kind of question is that?
What do you think? What do you think? 459 drunk fat nuclear techs or
I'm familiar with The Simpsons. So Homer's job in The Simpsons is to bumble and to fuck up.
This is true.
It's
Actually,
the intrinsic property to him is that he is incompetent and cannot succeed. He never succeeds.
but he bumbles upward.
Does he?
No.
Now,
Occasionally.
I think anybody who is not designated as a buffoon would be able to defeat an army of people who are designated buffoons.
The bumblers.
Yes.
Dang.
All right. Speaking of bumblers, are you in Bumble?
I'm just I'm just contradicting
That's fine.
both of yours
into it.
each time.
Yeah, this is apparent. But keep going.
Yeah.
We'll see how long
I'm
we
into
can.
it.
Yeah.
Hey, our next question from friend of the show, Prodigal Knight 777. Favorite planet to play on in Battlefront?
Oh,
Any of them? Any of the Battlefronts? So I thought about this on the way here.
Okay.
While Frank thinks about this, I'm gonna throw some answers at you. Whoops, I dropped a thing. Battlefront 1. The original Battlefront 1, 2006 on the Xbox. Bespin.
Oh, yeah.
Because you had those cool platforms with the bridges across, and then you had the landing pads on the side with all of the ships that you can jump in and fly. You got the A-Wing, you got the X-Wing, you got the Y-Wing, you got all your 3 options there. On the other side, you get the TIE Fighter or whatever, right? That best level in that game. Battlefront 2, I got 2 answers for you. Kashyyyk. Now, there were 2 Kashyyks on that game, I think. I could be mistaken. I could be thinking of the other Battlefront. But the one with the 2 bridges on the side, or not the bridges, but the 2 piers on the side, that one was great. I loved the dynamics of that level. But for some reason, Megiddo sticks out. I really liked the Megiddo level.
Okay.
I don't know about the new ones. Who cares?
I'll just say I really enjoy just the aesthetic of Starkiller Base and like the Death Star.
On the new ones.
Yeah, I just like traversing those levels. It just feels the most Star Wars to me. Like Endor is just that's a Force planet. It's cool. Like I like the maps overall. Even Takodana is pretty fun with the castle and all that. Camino actually in the original Battlefronts.
Oh yeah, that was good.
On the Camino was a lot of fun.
Yeah, again with the platforms and the bridge. Those games were really good with the platforms and the bridges and the choke points because there was so many.
It was Battlefront 2 Camino one was the one. Was a lot. That one I think I played like the most.
Yeah, Battlefront 2. I'm trying to get it running on my computer, but ironically the game is too old to run easily on my computer.
Have you played Battlefront 2, David? No, okay. Just KOTOR. Yeah.
I do want to point out in the original Battlefront 2, all of the space maps were great too.
Sure. Yeah.
Because you can those were great.
That was fun. I really should go play Battlefront again some more.
We should try to see if we can get Battlefront 2, the old one, up and running for us to all play.
I can download system is Battlefront 2 for?
Well, originally PlayStation, but
Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah.
The original
Battlefront 2 is Xbox 360 and PlayStation
2.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think they ever made it for the original PlayStation.
No, I think it's PlayStation 3. I think Battlefront 2 is PlayStation 3.
Battlefront 2 was on the original Battlefront 2 because there's 2 Battlefront 2s.
Right. The original Battlefront 2
was PlayStation 2. Right?
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's how I played it because I only had a PlayStation 2.
Sure.
Well, at least it was for that system. And probably for the original Xbox as well. I think
it was for the 360 on Battlefront 2, but I could be mistaken.
Could be. Either way, you can download those older ones on
it's like $8
Xbox.
On Steam.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, if you have Steam or if you have the Xbox, you can download the older versions of Battlefront, which I've been actually meaning to do, but
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I've been playing Final Fantasy 3. I'm close. I got to pay me like 15 more hours.
15 more hours.
I played like 2 hours last night, actually. Anyways,
chop away at it.
I had to. I'm at that point where I have to start grinding, and it sucks. But anyways.
All right, I got 2.5 questions left.
Oh Jesus!
Okay.
So we got a couple questions from friend of the show and friend of real life, Saul. Just Saul. With the exception of Echo, are the members of the Bad Batch supposed to physically resemble Jango Fett, or do their genetic modifications also alter the way their faces appear? Hold on. Maybe a better way to ask my question above is, if there was a live-action Bad Batch, would you cast Tamora Morrison, or do they not look like him because of their modifications? So I'm going to answer both questions here. I think that Echo and Tech both look close enough to Tamora Morrison to be played by Tamora Morrison. However, hot take here, Daniel Logan also might not be a bad idea
to
play one or two of them. I do think you cast different actors to play all of them. Tamora Morrison was the one that you said looks like
Gary Sinise.
Gary Sinise.
There was a funny angle.
We'll talk about it on Monday's episode.
We won't, though. We
Actually,
didn't.
we won't. But we'll talk about it.
We already filmed it.
Yeah, we did. We'll talk about Attack of the Clones on Monday with this guy. Oh my god. We go places and sometimes we don't.
Yeah, I think
I would like to think that I stayed on topic.
No,
you did. You did. I didn't.
Yeah.
To answer the question, I think that the modifications do alter their appearances enough to where you would be able to cast different actors to play them. I think Sly Stallone to play.
Oh my god, Wrecker.
I was gonna say Hunter, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could. So here's what I would do. I like your idea of incorporating Daniel Logan, but give me Daniel Logan and Tamora Morrison.
Well, I think Daniel Logan plays Omega.
Interesting. Interesting idea. Very interesting. You're really onto something there.
Yeah.
You put him in a wig and everything.
It's gonna be great. Well, no, you just dye his hair. He's got long hair.
That's true.
Actually, he doesn't anymore. I don't think.
Well, he could grow it,
but he could grow it out.
I'm sure he'd love to do it. Anyways, I
why is Omega blonde?
Just because.
Okay.
Sometimes your hair gets darker when you're older. Right?
That can happen.
Yeah, you're right.
No, I do think you should cast Tamora Morrison as the Bad Batch and then go in and tweak their appearances.
I think the problem is I think we would get a better performance though if they were played by different people.
I think Tamora Morrison is talented enough to play all those parts.
Okay.
And it would be very and I would want that to happen just because I know of the conversation of whitewashing and what's been talked about with the Bad Batch in terms of the skin tones and the colors and how it's kind of they don't share the same tones as in previous renderings of clones.
Yeah,
so
I had noticed that too.
Yeah, it's been talk. I've seen that talk.
So
here's my
Star
Wars Twitter and whatnot, and I agree with all of that. That's why I think if you had the technology and the capability and all of that stuff to cast Tamora Morrison, and he was able and willing to do it, you should try and go that way, or at least cast actors that do look similar to Tamora Morrison.
Cast.
Yeah,
here's my cast: D. Bradley Baker as that's who does the voice
as
right?
Echo. Let's say Echo.
Yeah, as Echo, I think. I don't know what he looks like, but I don't care.
He's the one that gets the most messed up.
You could do D. Bradley Baker as Tech, I think. I don't know what D. Bradley Baker looks like, but you could do him as Tech.
He's so white.
You could do him as Tech because Tech is very pale.
Yes,
right?
Which is part of the...
I understand. I understand, but don't worry, I'm going to accommodate it.
Yeah.
And then Tamora Morrison will play Echo because he is a direct clone. Okay. And then Manu Bennett as... I'm
not familiar with that person.
Manu Bennett played Deathstroke in the Arrowverse.
Again, I don't watch that stuff.
Okay, Manu Bennett as Wrecker.
Sure.
And then, no, you know what? Manu Bennett as Tech. Joe Manganiello as Hunter.
Okay.
And The Rock as Wrecker.
Okay, sure.
No?
David, who would you cast?
It's who?
Whoever. Just whoever. Do you have any casting hot takes?
Like, who would you just cast as yeah,
just in general.
as the Bad Batch?
Oh, I love...
as Gary... Who would you cast as Gary Sinise?
Who would I cast as Gary Sinise?
Yeah, as we have to cast 5 Gary Sinises.
I guess I would hire Gary Sinise.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And I love Willem Dafoe.
There you go.
And
Willem Dafoe as Echo.
And I like Jude Law quite a lot.
Yeah.
As Jude Law as Tech.
As Omega.
And I always want to see more from Orlando Bloom. And Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser. I just want to see. I want a whole Renaissance.
Yeah.
He actually would be a good wrecker or hunter.
Oh yeah, Brendan Fraser's great.
Great.
Childhood.
Great.
So yeah, those are my 5.
All right, so
That's amazing.
The last question. This says it's for our 4 hosts. We only have 3 hosts. So
Well,
if either Galaxy
2.
or Toast, you guys want to come
Toast the host.
answer this?
That's right.
This is a question for all of us. If you wished, now I'm going to fill in some words here that I think were missed.
Okay.
If you wished to be any fictional character from any movie, cartoon, anime, or video game. Oh no. Sorry.
Why don't you just read what they wrote?
Because I read it earlier and thought it was written wrong, but now that I'm reading out loud, I'm realizing it does make more sense.
I'm there for you, question person.
Oh, this is from friend of the show, Nep Nep.
Nep Nep.
Thank you,
You're
Nep Nep.
trying to rewrite Nep Neps? I wouldn't do
No,
that. Nep Nep. I wouldn't do that to you.
Maybe you're in charge of questions next week.
Okay.
David, you're in charge of questions next week.
Okay. All right. Great.
This question for all 4 hosts. If you wish any fictional character from any movie, cartoon, anime, or video game was real, who would it be and why?
I can give you a Star Wars answer. Outside of Star Wars, I don't know what I would do, but for my Star Wars answer is R2-D2.
Okay.
Because R2-D2 is like your dog, but your dog would never die. And because like it's really painful when a family pet dies, right? And if I had R2-D2 like for real, you know how many like ATMs we could be slicing into?
All right,
like
hold
he
on.
can fly. He can.
We're gonna really get into this on our droid episode, but if we're looking for a dog droid, I'm sorry, BD1.
BD1's great too,
because he also could slice. He's a lot more dog-like. He sits on your shoulder. He's just a little buddy. He hangs out. He's super cute.
I would have a slot in my car for R2-D2. He's so sweet, man.
You don't need a slot for BD1. He just sits on your dashboard.
Okay, I want to modify my car, and I would do that because I love R2-D2. Look, it's my answer.
Right.
Have your answer, Sean.
So my answer, I got 3 answers. I got 3 answers for you.
Lord.
And I'll tell you why. Because originally I was going to give you a Star Wars answer and a non-Star Wars answer. I decided I'm going to give you 2 Star Wars answers. So my Star Wars answers, my 2 of them are BD1, because for the reasons I just said. And then Wicket, because I just think he's cute and cuddly, and I'd love to hang out with Wicket.
And he's a cannibal.
And he's a cannibal. You know, I feel like taking Wicket to like a Mongolian barbecue or something, like, be a lot of fun.
Okay.
You know. And then I'm gonna say the genie
from Aladdin.
From Aladdin.
Oh wow!
But specifically the Will Smith one.
If you like getting slapped,
you know, he seems like more fun to hang out. Like, because Robin Williams genie, like, yeah, I like him better as the genie. But the Will Smith genie, like, I feel like he'd be more likely to go to get a drink with me at the bar, and then he'd hit on someone. And I wouldn't because I'm getting engaged.
Genie,
but, you know.
Robin Williams' genie is like the ultimate wingman, which he was for Aladdin. So,
sure,
like,
yeah.
Come on now.
But
anyways, that's your choice.
Yeah.
That's your choice.
Just because I wouldn't mind having 2 wishes and then getting him to hang out with me for a little bit. David, what about you?
Fictional character. Any fictional character, but they become real. I know, tough. Kind of tough, right?
Wait. Bob the Skull from Dresden Files. That's my answer.
Okay. Cool. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
It's a tough question, right?
Is it? Why wouldn't we make it specifically Star Wars, though?
I mean, if you can come up with Star Wars.
if you want to give a Star Wars.
All right. I wish that the girl from Andor was real.
Oh, Bix.
Yeah.
And then clap them cheeks.
All right, we want to thank you for coming out to this episode, guys. Tune in on Monday.
Let us know what you would do in the comments below.
Tune in on Monday. We're going to talk about Attack of the Clones. It's going to be just as fun as this. I'm going to reveal the best 8 minutes of any Star Wars. We're going to break down the last fight, I guess.
Yeah.
And,
we'll see you on Monday.
David's going to ask us some critical...
We'll see you next Thursday. We'll see you on Monday.
Scoundrel. Scoundrel. I like the sound of that.